How's everybody doing today? This is Anthony from the Basement Reef. And if this is your first time tuning into our channel, we're a retail aquatic pet store and houseplant shop located in Columbia, Missouri. We specialize in saltwater aquarium livestock, rare freshwater fish, and uncommon tropical houseplants that thrive easily indoors. And here on this channel, we talk about all sorts of things related to all three of those hobbies. And today, specifically, I'm excited because we're going to do an unboxing video that'll introduce you guys to yet another one of our wholesalers. This is going to be from Sustainable Aquatics in Tennessee. And they're really cool because they're one of the only companies I know of, and certainly one of the oldest companies, that specializes specifically in breeding saltwater aquarium livestock. So what I have here is a box of what they're best known for, and that's their captive bred clownfish. Over the years, Sustainable Aquatics has not only perfected breeding clownfish, but also pioneered bringing several new morphs into the hobby. And there's a couple of those in this box that I'm excited to share too. Recently, they've branched out in some other directions, like breeding some angels and even some freshwater fish, and they produce a dry food that is what I feed all of my fish here in the store. It's awesome stuff, so we'll get into that too. This box, though, is just clownfish, so let's get right into it. The first thing we always do is simply unbox the fish, make sure everything's alright, and start floating them for temperature in the tanks that they're eventually going to be released in. Sustainable Aquatics always does a nice job packing these guys up, so I've never really had any DOAs. It's always been smooth sailing in that regards. Next, we'll simply start releasing these fish. Normally I'd pour these through a net, but I'm going to put them into a cup for a second just so you can see them. These here are what I would consider Sustainable Aquatics' take on a natural colored clownfish. These are called fancy clownfish, and my first clownfish was a fancy clown. I even still own him. Essentially, it's a natural colored clownfish, but it's been selectively bred for a little bit darker color, some blacker, thicker margins, really just an attractive clown. This here is my adult fancy clownfish. He's 8 years old, but this will give you some idea of what they look like when they really grow into their colors. He definitely has thicker, darker margins than you would see in a wild-caught clown. I like this look a lot. This next fish is a really famous fish in the hobby called a Mai Tai clown, and they all date back to one very odd pairing of clowns, and that was a female Ocellaris clown with a male maroon clown. Now, if you don't know anything about those two clowns, they're totally different, and pairing them is normally impossible. And as such, these guys are kind of difficult to pair with anything but themselves. In the end, though, it makes for a really, really striking, interesting clown. Their colors pop like a maroon clownfish, and they're aggressive too, but they have all the tenacity of an Ocellaris clown. You can see here that we have them with damsels and a trigger, and that's really the type of fish you're going to want to keep these with, because like I said, that maroon lineage gives them some attitude. In the end though, this is a very neat clownfish, and it's cool that it all dates back to one specific pair. Here we have some snow onyx percula clowns. To tell you the truth, I don't know a whole ton about this morph. I just ordered them because it's cool to see some odd morphs of perculas. There's dozens upon dozens of Ocellaris morphs in the hobby, but percula clowns haven't been bred out nearly as much. So I saw these guys and figured I'd give them a shot. And honestly, they're pretty cool. That's just a really nice looking clownfish in the end, and if I had a spare tank, I could definitely see filling it with one of these guys. Next up, we have some Wyoming white Ocellaris clownfish. This is one of the earliest all-white Ocellaris morphs in the hobby. While there's been others since, this one is an important ingredient in lots of double mutation clown morphs. Now that's a little above my head because I'm no clownfish breeder, but essentially what genes you use to achieve the white clownfish make a big difference when you start crossing those out with other rare clownfish morphs and what sort of offspring they produce. In the end though, it's a really attractive all-white Ocellaris clownfish, and this pair looks to be picture perfect to the morph. These next clownfish are probably the most popular morph of percula clowns in the hobby, and those are Picassos. Now, these aren't full Picassos, they're what you would call semi-Picasso or like a B-grade Picasso, but as far as B-grade ones go, these look great. On a full Picasso, the white stripes all fully bleed back into each other, and these you can see it's incomplete, but it's still really cool because every single one is unique and an individual. The really nice thing about these B-grade ones is that while they look pretty nice, they're nowhere near as expensive as an A-grade Picasso. So if you're looking to get a designer clown but don't have a huge budget for it, these might be a really good one to take a look at. Now we have one of Sustainable Aquatics' newer morphs, and that's a Midnight Chocolate Lightning Ocellaris. This is getting incredibly far away from a wild type Ocellaris. Just absolutely bizarre looking clownfish. And this is what I'm talking about when I refer to double mutations and beyond. This is just some absolutely incredible breeding that Sustainable Aquatics has been doing, and I can't wait to see what they come out with next. If I had to guess, being that these are called a midnight chocolate, they're probably gonna get really dark as they age. Sustainable Aquatics also does wild type clownfish, not just fancy morphs. Here we have some captive bred Blackfoot skunk clowns. These are a really neat species of dwarf skunk clownfish that unfortunately when collected from the wild tend to do really poorly in the aquarium and almost always come in diseased. Sustainable Aquatics though has managed to captive breed them, and their captive bred ones have really nice color, which isn't always true. You can see here that they're immediately getting along well in the aquarium, and that wouldn't be the case with the wild caught Blackfoot. Before we get to the nicest pair of clowns in this whole order, let's take a look at my personal favorite, and that's these black Clark Eye clownfish. I keep a large pair of wild type Clark Eyes in my 90-gallon display reef at the store. They're a very, very cool, very underappreciated species of larger clownfish. And these ones, like I said, are black Clark Eye clownfish. So they've been bred out for black coloration. And I must say, the way that the black pops against the rest of the body is unlike any other clown that I've seen. I don't really know of anyone else in the industry that's doing any large-scale breeding of Clark Eye clownfish. So to see that not only is Sustainable Aquatics doing that, but also selectively breeding them to create fish like this, and you can really quickly see why I love ordering from them, and they get my full support. It's really exciting to imagine what future morphs of Clark Eye clowns might be in store from Sustainable. Alright, so now for the nicest fish on this whole order. We have a bonded pair of blacker ice special clownfish. Now, the special just means that these are particularly nice ones that Sustainable Aquatics has picked out and paired up together. You'll see the second clown of the pair released here in a second. Now, these are available on a what you see is what you get basis, meaning that I'm able to shop from actual pictures of these specific pairs of clownfish from Sustainable Aquatics' website. These particular fish are already spoken for by one of our customers, and that's because that's how we handle these what you see is what you get fish, on a special order basis. Not everybody that walks into the store wants to spend upwards of a couple $100s on a pair of clowns. So if you want one, reach out to us. If you're in the Columbia, Missouri area and you want a really, really nice pair of clowns, shoot us a message and tell us that you want to look at the what you see is what you get clowns from Sustainable Aquatics. Again, they don't retail to the public at all. It's all wholesale through local fish stores. So if you want these types of clowns, that's the way to get them. As you can see though, these are absolutely top quality clowns. These blacker eyes are riddled in bullet holes, and the white covers their entire body, which is fantastic. That wraps up the fish that we ordered from them this week, but I really do want to mention their dry food. It's the best food that I've ever used, and it's what I feed absolutely everything here in the store. Even mandarins and things like that have gone after it right away from time to time, which is crazy. Here's just a really quick example for you. I toss this in, and all these cardinals, that wrasse in the back, and this basslet are all going right for it. I carry this here in the store as well as some other foods. So stop by and check it out. I really think that you'll be happy with this food. And that takes us to the end of today's video. I'm really excited to have all kinds of new captive bred clownfish here in the store, and I'm always happy to get an order in from Sustainable Aquatics. This really just scratches the surface of what they have to offer. They not only have captive bred clownfish, but also some gobies, angels, blennies, starting to branch out into some freshwater fish, and in recent years they've introduced something called Sustainable Islands, where they're collecting some wild caught fish in a sustainable fashion, and those are top quality fish too. Not only do they have the dry foods, but they also have all kinds of live foods. These guys do copepods. They even culture some things that you wouldn't ordinarily think to see cultured, like bristleworms. Honestly, more than I could ever receive in just one order from these guys. So I'm excited to keep documenting our orders from Sustainable Aquatics and show you guys everything that they have to offer. As always though, thank you so much for watching this video, and please subscribe to our channel. It would do a lot to help us grow.